Night Guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brooks Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to brooksnightguard.com and enter the code Brooks91. That's BRUX91.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard. My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
With NFL Plus, keep the NFL in reach. Stream live, local, and primetime games on mobile during the regular and postseason. NFL Network, including 7 exclusive live games, live game audio, and more. With NFL Plus Premium, watch every touchdown every Sunday afternoon during the regular season on NFL Red Zone. Never miss a game with game replays and track advanced analytics powered by next-gen stats with NFL Pro. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com/radio. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Monday when the Kansas City Chiefs visit the Jacksonville Jaguars. Our coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, kickoff at 8:15. Listen to the live stream for free at westwood1sports.com or in the Westwood One Sports app. If it's Monday Night Football, it's on Westwood One. And our first bye weeks this week, Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh are all off, but we'll cap it off on Monday night. A Chiefs team that right now is 2-2 after a big win, but a Jaguars team, Ross, that's got to feel awfully good after beating the Niners and going back home at 3-1.
I don't think many people thought the Jaguars would be 3-1, and I don't think many people thought they would beat an undefeated Niners team on the road. They have done an unbelievable job of turning over their opponents. I mean, it's crazy how many turnovers they've been able to generate. I guess what I'm curious about is that who they are? You know, are they some dominant defense this year under their new D coordinator, Anthony Campanelli, and they're going to be flying around forcing 3 or 4 turnovers a game? Or is this a very fortunate start to the season for Jacksonville, and that turnover fortune will run out at some point? Meanwhile, they're going against the Chiefs team. That's the best I feel like the Chiefs offense has looked in a while. Getting Xavier Worthy back obviously makes a huge difference. All of a sudden, with that Brashard Smith at running back, and then Worthy, Thornton, Hollywood Brown, the Chiefs look fast, really fast, and they're going to get Rashee Rice back soon as well. There's a chance that, speaking of how we started the show about teams in October taking the next step, the Chiefs might be poised to get back to being the Chiefs we've come to know and love over the years.
All right, Ross, well, enjoy your weekend. You're a busy man with things to do. We'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, Scott.
That's going to do it for this edition of NFL Preview. Join us this weekend for Sunday Night Football. Ryan Ratke and Mike Golick have all the action as the Bills host the Patriots. I'll kick off the broadcast with scores and highlights from around the league on NFL Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The producer of NFL Preview is Jordan Markovic. Executive producer Mike Eby. Special thanks to Nick Pope. The Senior Vice President of Sports for Cumulus Media and Westwood One is Bruce Gilbert. Now for Ross Tucker, I'm Scott Graham. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to NFL Preview on Westwood One.
3-2 the judge. Bases loaded, 2-0 Toronto.
It was a not-so-warm welcome to Toronto in Game 1 for the Yankees.
Swing and a miss. He got him on a slider. Oh, my goodness, one down.
Ace Max Fried takes the hill, looking to get the Bombers back on track before returning to the Bronx. Catch all the action, all the drama today. First pitch 4:08 here on your home for New York Yankees baseball. WFAN, New York. Get the latest on the Giants and Jets on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Stations.
WFAN Sports Flash.
Good morning at 8 o'clock. I'm Tony Pierno. This report is brought to you by Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Water Cleanup. Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and away go troubles down the drain. It was another rough day at the office for Luke Weaver. Weaver surrendered 3 runs Saturday as the Yankees fell in Game 1 of the American League Division Series to the Blue Jays 10-1. The right-hander has now faced 6 batters this postseason. All 6 have reached base.
I'm not going to just allow 2 outings to dictate my time here. I mean, you can certainly say what you like, but ultimately, I feel confident in our team. I feel confident in myself. Like I said, it's not like I'm throwing 93. I'm throwing 97. It's coming out really good.
Game 2 is this afternoon. Max Fried is on the bump for New York against rookie Trey Savage. First pitch is at 4:08 with coverage on 6:60 a.m. beginning at 3:25. Another postseason action. The Tigers edged the Mariners in 11 innings 3-2. The Dodgers rallied to beat the Phillies 5-3. Teoscar Hernandez hit the go-ahead 3-run home run in the 7th inning, and the Brewers got by the Cubs 9-3. Jackson Dart and the Giants hit the road this afternoon to take on the Saints. Dart is looking to become the 4th quarterback in franchise history to win his first 2 career starts. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock with coverage here on The Fan beginning at 11 a.m. And the winless Jets host the Cowboys. One of the issues for Gang Green has been turnovers. The Jets have lost the turnover battle in each of their 4 games this season, and they are the only team in the league that has not recorded a takeaway this year. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. 64 degrees under cloudy skies in Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Tony Pierno.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, The Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps. It's Sunday morning. Time to take a spin around the NFL. This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry Week 5 NFL Sunday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet on The Fan. Nick Kostos here with you for the next 60 minutes, talking all things betting and fantasy. Week number 5 in the National Football League. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at the Kostos, TheKostos, posting betting content on both Twitter and Instagram at the Kostos, TheKostos. The show is on Twitter at You Better You Bet, and the show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. The phone number this morning to chime in on bets, on fantasy, on football, 888-808-1019, 888-808-1019. All right, you know how we do. Nick Kostos and you, each and every NFL Sunday morning here on The Fan. Side total and props for every game on the board in the fastest show in all of Wagertainment. Eddie, bring it up. Hell yeah. Let's go. Week 5. It's time for football. And the show starts right now. And it begins across the pond. Hello, everybody. I offended our Irish listeners and viewers last week. People watching the show on YouTube, shout out to you. Today, I decided to offend our English listeners and viewers. Last week, international game in Dublin. This week, an international game in London. And kickoff about 90 minutes from now. And Eddie, just monitor the injury actives and inactives for me, please. Those will be breaking in the next few moments here on social media. We're not expecting anything crazy like when Jalen Warren was ruled out last week as a surprise inactive. We told you Kenny Gainwell was going to beast. Kenny Gainwell did beast last week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're not expecting anything crazy, but if anything crazy comes down, we will bring it to you here on You Better You Bet. So the game kicking off in about 90 minutes in London, the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. Minnesota, a 3.5-point favorite, although it looks like this is going to drop to 3 before kickoff at BetMGM. The total in the game, 35.5. A lot going on here from an injury perspective, a lot going on here from a quarterback perspective. For Minnesota, the Vikings down 3/5 of their starting offensive line in this game. And that's how the Vikings ended last week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they were able to mount what was just a stupid comeback at the end. Where if you bet the Steelers, like I did, you had a really unnecessary sweat at the end of that game. But once these offensive linemen went out, Carson Wentz got the crap kicked out of him. And I expect that to happen today against Cleveland. Right tackle Brian O'Neill, out. Center Ryan Kelly, out. First round left guard Donovan Jackson, out. And the backup center is out. So now Minnesota's third-string center is going to have to play here and protect Carson Wentz from first-round defensive tackle Mason Graham, from Malik Collins, and the alien, the extraterrestrial himself, maybe the best football player on the planet, the great Myles Garrett. I fear for Carson Wentz today. Carson, of course, Pete's brother. Myles Garrett's gonna sack Carson Wentz today and bury him into the ground. It's gonna be a fallout, boy. Jack Conklin expected to play today for the Cleveland Browns at offensive tackle, and they need him. And, of course, the big news, which was announced way earlier this week, Joe Flacco benched by the Browns in favor of rookie Dylan Gabriel. I did that little pause there just in case you were expecting to hear Shedeur Sanders, in case you were living under a rock. No, Shedeur Sanders is the emergency third quarterback for today. And if you missed Shedeur Sanders' media availability this week, where he decided to do his best Charlie Chaplin imitation, that's a dated reference, man. Just saying. Where he pantomimed his answers. Like, what an idiot. And I think he's a decent quarterback. He's going to start games this year for the Browns. And here's my question for everybody. For everyone that watched the NFL draft this year, Mel Kiper Jr., basically crying on national television, like Jimmy Kimmel after Trump got elected. And that's not a political statement. I'm just saying he's crying on TV, basically. Does Mel Kiper have to retire? Shedeur Sanders is the number one player in the draft. If Shedeur's the third quarterback and Dylan Gabriel's the starter. I love Mel Kiper. I'm just saying. The guy's the emergency third quarterback today while Dylan Gabriel draws the start. So, you might hear that Dylan Gabriel starting and say, well, going up against the Brian Flores defense, that's going to be really tough. And you're right. But if I'm thinking about betting this game, and I am focused on the Browns defense versus this injury-depleted Minnesota Vikings offensive line. And I've got concerns about Jordan Mason being able to tote the rock against this Browns defensive front. Mason, like David Montgomery last week, and the Lions killed the Browns last week. But David Montgomery couldn't get going. He's a bigger back, right? Like Jordan Mason is. Jahmyr Gibbs has a better chance against. That type has a better chance against the Browns defensive front. So I don't think the Vikings are going to be able to run the ball that successfully here. And when Carson Wentz has to throw, here's this awesome Browns defensive line coming at him. I'm not bullish on the Vikings offense here. And that doesn't mean I'm bullish on Dylan Gabriel, the Angel, and the Cleveland Browns offense. But something to consider. Even when the Browns have been down in games this year, like the end of last week's game against the Lions, where they're down by a ton, right? And you would think that they're going to spread it out and play in the shotgun, 4 receivers, and chuck the ball all over the place. They were still running 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field, and running the crap out of the football. They're showing you what they want to be. And I think that puts a rookie quarterback, even in a start internationally against the Flores defense, gives him a chance for success. So I bet 4.5 earlier this week. I talked about it on my show, You Better You Bet, all week long. I still think there's an opportunity to bet the Browns. But if you like Cleveland, please bet plus 3.5. And if you're out there listening or watching, and you haven't bet this game yet, and you like the Vikings, I think you lose nothing by waiting. Take this son of a bitch up to kickoff and see if you can lay a -3 with Minnesota. That would be my advice if you want to bet this game. Prop-wise, last week, we told you about 007. Bond. Isaiah Bond. And he went over his receiving yards prop. And we'll talk more about him in the fantasy segment later in the show and why I think he's going to play a huge role in the Browns' passing offense the rest of the season. The betting market is adjusted now for Isaiah Bond, especially with Cedric Tillman, Lewis's son, out on injured reserve for the Browns. So instead, let's take a look at Cleveland's number 1 tight end. Fannin. If anyone gets the Don Cannon, I get tweets and Instagram messages from people who love that. The Don Cannon rep for Fannin, who's actually Cleveland's number 1 tight end now. David Njoku could get traded by the deadline. He's the number 2 now, and Harold Fannin's the number 1. Harold Fannin, over 25.5 receiving yards. I do like Quinshon Judkins as well for the Browns, but let's go with Fannin over receiving yards. I got a wacky anytime touchdown for everybody. So with Cedric Tillman out for the Browns, right, that means that everyone in the receiving corps gets bumped up a little bit. The Browns have a receiver who was actually like a preseason stud. He's a stud. His name, this sounds like the full name of a secondary character on a 1990s Japanese role-playing game for Super Nintendo. Gage Laverdane. I would never lie to you, the listeners and viewers, and make up a name. This is a real person. Gage Laverdane. And he caught passes from Dylan Gabriel in the preseason. He's a huge price. This is not a big money bet. This is a little twin a lot. Gage Laverdane, anytime touchdown. Maybe I am crazy. I don't know. For the Cleveland Browns. All right. We move from London to the good old US of A. And to Indianapolis for the Colts and the Raiders. Indy, a 7.5 point. And I'm going to refresh. I do this every show. Refresh the old BetMGM page to see if anything's on the move. Okay, so we are still where we were at before. Indy, a 7.5 point favorite. The total of the game is 48. In case you have missed it, I think this is the reason for the move in the point spread from Colts 7 up to 7.5. Brock Bowers, the next big thing. I'll do it. Brock. Shout out to Paul Heyman. Brock Bowers is not expected to play with his knee injury. He has not been ruled out yet, but the expectation per all the NFL insider tweets overnight is that Bowers is more likely to miss than he is to play. We'll find out for sure at 11:30 a.m. Eastern when the actives and inactives come out for the early slate of games. But if you've got Brock Bowers in fantasy and you don't have a backup option, you should consider one now. And certainly at 11:30, if he's ruled out, you have to get him out of your lineup and you have to get somebody else in. I am expecting right now Brock Bowers to miss the game for the Raiders, and Michael Mayer, the backup tight end, in case you were like, oh, let's just put Mayer in. He's not going to play either. So this is like curtain jerking jabronis for the Raiders here at tight end. This is not a great situation for the Las Vegas Raiders. And their left tackle, Colton Miller, is on injured reserve. He's their best offensive lineman, which is not saying much because they're all really bad. For Indianapolis, Alec Pierce remains out, and star slot corner Kenny Moore is out as well. And remember last week when the Rams played the Colts, and we told you Puka Nacua was going to go nuts because Kenny Moore was out, and Puka goes for 13 and 170. We'll talk about a player I like in the prop market in a similar vein in a few moments. Now, I bet the Raiders last week against the Chicago Bears, and if you just looked at the box score, you would think the Raiders won by 30 until you got to turnovers. Geno Smith. Geno. A disgrace to Italians. 3 interceptions last week. And these are terrible, terrible interceptions. What a bum. Now, I wanted to bet the Raiders. I'm being honest. I have Raiders +7 circled from the start of the week. Not that I think the Raiders are going to win, but that I think the point spread's a little too big. Like, I think the point spread of the game should be like Colts -6. Like, not 7. But with Bowers out, Like, it's not great for this Raiders offense, especially with Colton Miller also out. Now it's 7.5. I would still only bet the Raiders, and it does look like this is going to drop down to 7. So if you like the Raiders, like 7.5, I think is going to be the best number you get. I still would only bet the Raiders, and I may, in full disclosure, I may end up betting the Raiders plus 7.5. But like, it's one of those bets that you make and you don't feel good about it, especially with Brock Bowers out. Raiders or nothing for me in this spot. And just on Alec Pierce, who's out this week, right? He was out last week also. And I talked about A.D. Mitchell, and we'll get to him in the fantasy segment coming up in a little bit. It's a little, I'm going to bitch and moan for a little bit. How about me? Far be it from me to make it about me. But I will. On Sunday last week, we bet A.D. Mitchell anytime touchdown. And he fumbles the ball going into the end zone on a ridiculous 75-yard touchdown. It was a great play by him, and he fumbles it going into the end zone. That was Sunday. How about Braylon Allen on Monday night? I bet the Jets. Jets fans, you know what happened there on the opening possession at the goal line. And then had the Rams in a huge Survivor contest on Thursday, and Kyron Williams fumbles going into the end zone to win the game with under a minute to play. That could maybe happen 3 times a season with things you have money on. It happened for me Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Oh, sports betting and fantasy. You gotta love it. Or not. So anyway, A.D. Mitchell is apparently going to be active today, but will be on a limited snap count. He could go for 100 yards. He could go for 0 yards. I wanted to get that into the show, and we'll talk more about him in a little bit. Ashton Doolin would get the snaps outside receiver if A.D. Mitchell does indeed not play. Okay, props. The law firm of Jacoby and Myers. It's a real law firm. I think there are commercials for it, right, in the tri-state area. Jacoby Myers is not like poor man's Puka Nacua. He's like hobo under the bridge, Puka Nacua. And he's a good player. That's more of a compliment to Puka. No Kenny Moore. Brock Bowers unlikely to go. Let's fire up Jacoby Myers over 71.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. Let's take a look at Raheem Mostert, who's now the backup behind Ashton. That Gucci, that Genti, that Prada, that BCBG, Burberry, Dolce & Gabbana. Raheem Mostert, anytime touchdown, and Ashton Doolin, anytime touchdown. And if you want to bet Jonathan Taylor to score, bet him to score 2 or 3 times today. Could be a monster performance for JT. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. All right, New York football fans. Let's talk about our teams. The next 2 games on the docket. The Giants and the Jets. And we will start in New Orleans. In the heart of the night. Down in New Orleans. What a great song, right? Down on the Pontchartrain with the Saints, a 1.5 point favorite over Big Blue. Total of the game is 42. How about the LA Chargers last week? Lost to Jackson Dart, and they're to blame. They give football a bad name. Oh, yeah. And look, I don't think this passing offense is going to be great with Malik Neighbors out, but that's got to give you some juice if you're a fan of the New York Football Giants like I am. Hell yeah. We're expecting Dexter Lawrence to play today despite having an illness. We think Tyler Nubin's going to play as well, but he's questionable for Big Blue. And the Saints could be down a couple offensive linemen in this spot. Not great going up against, Burns and Thibodeau and Abdul Carter, who's starting to come on, and obviously the great Dexter Lawrence. Something to keep in mind. We'll do this with fantasy later. Taysom Hill is expected to make his season debut for the New Orleans Saints. So I've thought a lot about this game this week. And when I talked about it on my show that runs search You Bet where you find your podcast. When I talked about it on Monday, last Sunday night when I'm looking at the opening point spreads for the week to come, and I sit down and I make my own point spreads for games. And I think they're pretty good. Doesn't mean that my bets will win, but I think my stuff's pretty good. There's no way the Giants can be favored, which doesn't mean they won't win. And I'll get to my bet in a second. But the Saints need to be favored in the game. With no Malik Neighbors, and the Saints have a ridiculous home field advantage. And even though they're 0-4, look at last week's game against Buffalo. They covered, and the game could have been way closer than the 12-point final score margin of victory was. So I'm leaning towards taking the New Orleans Saints in the game. But I think about it. And I think about it. And I think about it a little more. And I think back to the good old days of Brian Daboll. There aren't that many. 2022. When Daboll made, and I'm the biggest Brian Daboll critic on the planet, but he made a receiving core of Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, and the super freak, Richie James. Richie James looked pretty good with Daniel Jones. Why can't they fashion an offense together and a passing game together with Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and the combination of rookie Bo Collins and Jalen Hyatt? This may bite me in the derriere, but damn it, I choose today to believe in Jackson Dart, Brian Daboll, and our New York Football Giants. Now I'm going to take the 1.5 just in case this is going to end in heartbreak. But give me Big Blue plus the 1.5 today on the road in New Orleans. Yardage props. Here's to you, Wan'Dale Robinson. 44.5, way too low for Wan'Dale. I think he gets into the 50s. Wan'Dale Robinson over 44.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. Keep in mind, Taysom Hill likely to play today for the Saints. Just keep that in mind. I don't like the price, but just saying. Daniel Bellinger, anytime touchdown for the Giants. And I prefer Bo Collins to Jalen Hyatt if forced to pick, and we'll talk about that in the fantasy segment a little later. All right, let's talk about the Jets. Dallas, a 1.5-point road favorite at Gang Green. Total in the game is 48. And man, this Dallas Cowboys injury report is absolutely terrible for them. And I think this sets up as a pretty good spot for the Jets. It's like Paula Cole sang with her mid-1990s pop hit, "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone?" Where is Tyler Guyton? Where is CeeDee Lamb? Where is Tyler Booker? Where have all the Cowboys gone? They're all hurt. All of them. I didn't even mention Tyler Smith. I didn't even mention Cooper Beebe, Don's son. Dallas, if Tyler Smith misses this game, didn't practice all week, he's questionable, will be missing 4 of their starting 5 offensive linemen and CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin, who's an electric slot receiver kick returner. This is a bad situation for Dallas. Bad situation for the Cowboys, whose defense is obviously so bad that it gave up 450 yards passing to Russell Wilson, who was benched 2 weeks later. Now let's talk about the Jets. I bet them on Monday night. And I actually think, and I said this with BT and Sal on Friday, in my weekly spot with them, 12:40 p.m. Eastern on Fridays, on Football Fridays. I said it on my show all week on You Better You Bet. Search You Bet wherever you find your podcasts. I thought the Jets' offense actually played really well on Monday night against Miami. And the penalties and the turnovers and the fact that the secondary can't tackle overshadowed it. Braylon Allen now on IR. People are down on the Jets, down on the offense. I think they're going to slice and dice Dallas today. And I think that this will be the first win of the season for Aaron Glenn and the New York Jets. Give me the Jets plus the 1.5. I bet 2.5 earlier in the week. This number was 2.5, like on Thursday when the injury report was horrible for Dallas. But I still think 1.5's okay. I think money line's okay. And I do like the over, basically, in any Cowboys game moving forward, because this defense absolutely stinks, and the offense with Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level is absolutely awesome. So if you've noticed, I have picked both New York teams today. It doesn't happen often in the You Better You Bet era since the show's been on the air on the Fan since 2020. It doesn't happen often. And when it does happen, that I think both New York teams will win, do you know what we all need to do? We've got to start spreading the news. We're betting both New York teams. The Giants and the Jets will both win today. The New York parlay. Whatever you're wearing right now on your nasty ass feet, your jacked up feet on this Sunday morning, socks, slippers, sneakers, maybe your dirty ass is barefoot. You know what you need to slip on? those vagabond shoes. New York, New York. Giants Jets money line parlay for your boy today on a Week 5 NFL Sunday. Props. Justin Fields over rushing yards. The first digit's a 4. That's wrong. Justin Fields over 49.5 rushing yards. Let's play Jaden Blue. Anytime touchdown, it ain't easy. Being Blue. He's expected to make his NFL debut here today. Jaden Blue, Dallas's rookie 5th-round running back out of Texas. Jaden Blue, anytime touchdown. The Cowboys have a wide receiver. It's an unfortunate name. Jalen Cropper. And look, we all know that I guess I don't want to, it could be a guy also, but a girl takes pictures and posts them on Instagram and crops everybody else out of the picture. It's the Cropper. I'm sorry. Jalen Cropper, if you can find a price, anytime touchdown, small money bet to win a lot. And if you like Breece Hall to score today, and I do with Braylon Allen out, and we'll talk more about Breece later, I would bet Breece to score multiple touchdowns in today's game. Eagles and the Broncos in Philadelphia. Philly, a 4-point home favorite. Total in the game is 44. Nakobe Dean will miss another game for Philly. He'll make his season debut coming up soon for the Eagles, but he will be out today. So this has been a really interesting betting market here with Philly and Denver, where the Broncos have drawn a ton of support throughout the week, and it just feels anecdotally like a lot of people that do betting content, and this doesn't mean they're going to win or lose. I'm just saying that this is the fact. A lot of people like the Broncos to keep this game close and are betting Denver to cover the spread. And it does make sense, right? Philly has been outgained in its 4 games by 327 yards. And the Eagles are 4-0. I've been marinating on a take. And I think it's ready to come out of the oven. I think it's ready. And it's not apples to apples. The 2025 Philadelphia Eagles, to me, are like the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs. Again, not apples to apples. Where I think they're going to win 15 games, and after every game, everyone's going to bitch and moan and send out the Jesse Pinkman Breaking Bad meme. They can't keep getting away with this. And unfortunately, as a Giants fan, the answer is yes, they can. Because they have the best players. And Quinyon Mitchell, who might be the best corner in the league in year 2 for Philly, is going to be on Courtland Sutton. Then here's Bo Nix against Vic Fangio. So look, maybe Denver covers the spread. I'm not giving you all that setup to say I think the Eagles are going to blow them out. A.J. Brown's pissed. Devontae Smith's pissed. I don't blame them. They want the football. I totally understand. So maybe Denver covers and keeps the game close. I have no interest in making that bet. The bet that I do like, let's put the Eagles, if you like money line parlays, I think the Eagles win the game. Eagles as a money line parlay piece today. Yardage props with A.J. Brown likely to see coverage from Patrick Surtain. Let's look at the other Eagle wide receiver, Devontae Smith, over 45.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. Grant Calcaterra, a good paisan, playing behind Dallas Goedert, got some targets last week. Calcaterra, anytime touchdown for the Eagles. And we'll talk about this name in the fantasy segment in a little bit. Broncos rookie receiver, Pat Bryant, anytime touchdown. Dolphins and the Panthers in Carolina. This game sucks. Miami, a 1-point road favorite, total here, 44.5. Obviously, Tyreek Hill done for the season for Miami. And Darkwing's son, Storm Duck, at corner remains out for the Dolphins. For Carolina, Chuba Hubbard is out. If you have him in your fantasy lineups, get him out. We're going to hit him with the Rico today. Rico Dowdle will be Carolina's number 1 running back. Jatavian Sanders is out for Carolina at tight end. Xavier Legette is back in. And if you're starting Xavier Legette in anything but a 16-team league, buddy, you got issues. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with this game. I'm not betting the game. I think both teams are awful. I could see Dolphins win big, Dolphins win small. Panthers win big, Panthers win small. What I'll tell you all is that a bunch of the sharp bettors that I deal with, and this is not a guarantee the bet will win, and I always say that, they like Carolina as a home underdog here. So do with that information what you will. I am passing the game, but people I respect like the Carolina Panthers in today's game, but I am not betting it. Yardage prop, Tet McMillan, over 64.5 receiving yards. I mean, he could have 15 targets in today's game from Bryce Young. Tet McMillan, over receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. Julian Hill, is the number 2 tight end in Miami now, behind Darren Waller. He's a baller. If you're out there listening and you get that reference, you are beyond a real one. Julian Hill, anytime touchdown for the Miami Dolphins, their number 2 tight end. And let's take a look for Carolina behind the new starting tight end with Jatavian Sanders out. Tommy, I knew you were tremble when you walked in. Tremble, tremble, tremble. Shout out to all the Swifties out there. So the Panthers have, and we hit one of these last week. There's Mitchell Evans, and then there's James Mitchell. I'd like to play both of them to score a touchdown today for Carolina. We'll call it the Mitchell Report. And Red Sox fans will read that report and then insist that David Ortiz isn't on it and didn't do any performance-enhancing drugs. But we know the truth. And if you like Tet McMillan, I would bet Tet McMillan to score multiple touchdowns in today's game. Texans and the Ravens in Baltimore. This one is absolutely fascinating. Houston, a 1.5-point road favorite, total 40.5. The Ravens injury report reads like a CVS receipt. And it's not just that they have a lot of players out. It's that it's all the good ones are out for Baltimore. Not all out, but they're all on the injury report. So obviously, I hope that you, the listener and viewer, know enough at this point now, listening to the show, watching the show, listening to me during the week, to know that if Houston's favored at Baltimore, it means at minimum that Lamar Jackson is not playing. Let's start there. So Cooper Rush will start. I don't really like the band Rush, or else I do like a Tom Sawyer bit here. Cooper Rush will start for Baltimore. Marlon Humphrey's out. Roquan Smith is out. Chidobe Awuzie is out. Nnamdi Madubuike is out for the season with a neck injury. Kyle Hamilton's questionable. Odafe Owe is questionable. Ronnie Stanley's questionable. If all those players miss the game, and we won't know for sure until 11:30 when the actives and inactives come out, I think the Ravens are the worst team in the league. This iteration of the Ravens that we'll be playing today, if all those players miss, I think is the worst team in the league. Now, if they do play, if Hamilton plays, and Owe plays, and Stanley plays, and Jair Alexander, who's been a healthy scratch since week 1, if he plays, you can make a case that the Ravens are not the worst team in the league, but maybe the 24th best. And Houston's no great shakes. This is shaping up to be Texans or nothing for me. I am not betting the Ravens. Now, if we get to 11:30 and let's say Hamilton's out, but Owe and Stanley play, we'll have decisions to make. I'm on the air nationally from 11 to 1. I will finalize my bet there. I'm not trying to be a tease here or do the Vince McMahon, but not tonight. Listen, I don't know what I'm betting yet. We need to find out what's going to be coming up on the injury report. This is Texans or pass for me, and I'm probably going to lay the Houston Texans. Yardage props. I think we can take a look at Christian Kirk and Jaden Higgins today for Houston. Captain Kirk and the rookie Jaden Higgins, who caught a touchdown last week. Higgins 7.5, Kirk 35.5. Pick whoever the hell you want. Keaton Mitchell is expected to be active for the Ravens today. And I'll talk about Derrick Henry in the fantasy segment. You could do worse than a Keaton Mitchell anytime touchdown bet. How about Jalen, the first Noel, for Houston, one of their rookie receivers who caught a pass and got a rushing attempt last week. Jalen Noel, anytime touchdown. And we saw Cooper Rush toss a touchdown in the preseason to third-string tight end Charlie Kohler. Charlie Kohler at a huge price to score a touchdown. To the afternoon slate. Cardinals and the Titans in the desert. Kyler Murray in Arizona, 7.5-point favorite. Total in the game, 41. Big fantasy stuff here in this game. Calvin Ridley is expected to play, per the NFL Insider tweets overnight. But what we don't know is if he's going to play a full complement of snaps. There are some reports that he's good to go, some reports that he'll be on a pitch count. I think, we'll talk more in the fantasy segment, but it's a little iffy here for Calvin Ridley. And right tackle J.C. Latham out for the Titans again, and this offense has been unable to do anything without him. Tyjae Spears, if you have stashed him, he will make his season debut today for Tennessee off of injured reserve, adding some juice to the running back core behind Tony Pollard. For Arizona, we know James Conner was out for the season. Now Trey Benson's on IR. Lots of music in the air. We don't get to do the bet if he's out. So Arizona's running back group, Michael Carter, the former Jet, Amari DiMercado, and Bam Knight. That is a poo-poo platter. Emphasis on poo-poo. Arizona will have stud rookie corner Will Johnson playing today. Now, Cam Ward, who is, I think everyone said this about Caleb Williams, Cam Ward is actually the first Gen Z quarterback who, after the Titans got humiliated last week and shut out by Houston, got up there at his post-game press conference and said, quote, "If we keeping it a buck, we ass." It's a great quote. It really is spectacular. And he's right. And Brian Callahan might be the worst head coach in the history of the NFL. I mean, he makes Rich Kotite look like Bill Walsh and makes Ray Handley look like Bill Belichick. Doesn't even know the rules of football. If you have to bet this game, it's only Arizona. I'm never betting Tennessee, but I don't really trust Arizona to win by margin. I do like Arizona as a teaser leg, though, down from 7.5 to 1.5. We'll talk about what to pair it with a little later in the show. Oh, and also just want to throw this out there. Ghost of Yotai just came out on PlayStation 5, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I bought it. I can't wait to play it. We know Kyler loves his video games. I hope he's been able to prepare today and not playing in feudal samurai Japan. Yardage props. We had this last Thursday. I didn't give it out on this show, but gave it out on my show. Marvin Harrison Jr. Shook off a ghastly start to the game and went over his yardage prop. I want to go over again on Marvin Harrison Jr., over 50.5 receiving yards. And let's play Gunnar Helms deep. Shout out to the Lord of the Rings fans. Gunnar Helm, anytime touchdown for the Tennessee Titans at the tight end position behind Chikakonkwo. Seahawks and the Bucks in Seattle. This is going to be both teams wearing throwback uniforms. It's going to be awesome, like a great televisual feast for the eyes today in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle, a 3.5-point home favorite, total 44.5. Fantasy stuff for the Bucks. Mike Evans remains out. If he's in your lineups, get him out. Bucky Irving is out for this game for Tampa. It'll be Rashad White as the main running back and Sean Tucker as the main backup. Jamel Dean is out for Tampa. The Sausage, one of their top corners, Jamel Dean, is out. For Seattle, DeMarcus Lawrence is out on the defensive line and missing two key members of their secondary, star corner Devin Witherspoon and safety Julian Love. As far as betting this game goes, if I had to, I'd bet Tampa. I am going to pass the game. I think that I missed the boat when this opened Seattle minus 2.5 on Sunday night last week. This was the sharp bet, which doesn't mean it's going to win. But everyone I talk to that I respect, bet Seattle at the beginning of the week before this market moved to 3 and then to 3.5 with Bucks injuries not being baked into the original market here. And Sam Darnold's been unbelievable this season. And I know Jets fans don't want to hear that, but let's tell the truth. Sam Darnold has been great this season for Seattle. And I do think the Seahawks will make the playoffs. Tampa, I think, will make the playoffs also. If I had to bet the game, I'd take the 3.5 with Tampa, but I don't. So I won't. But there is a yardage prop that I love. I said a couple of weeks ago that Jackson Smith and Jigba, his receiving yards prop in perpetuity, needs to start with an 8. It's a 7 right now at BetMGM, 79.5. JSN over 79.5 receiving yards. The Seahawks have 2 stud tight ends. Let's play the guy at a longer price, and that is rookie Elijah Arroyo. And hopefully, when he's going to cross the goal line, Alex Rodriguez does not try and knock the ball out of his hands. I'm a Yankee fan, but I got to give everybody that reference. Moving on. We got a feline on feline crime here. Lions and Bengals, oh my, in Cincinnati. Detroit, a 10.5-point road favorite, total 49.5. If anyone wanted to make a case for the Bengals to keep this game close, or to feel good about Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or Chase Brown in fantasy, you can make it today. I'm being serious. Aleem McNeil is out in the middle of the Lions' defensive line. DJ Reed, one of their star corners, is on IR. And Kirby Joseph, one of their best safeties, is questionable for this game. So there's a case to be made here. Cincinnati, home dog of more than 10, off of a blowout on a short week. This is like the ultimate NFL betting zigzag spot, where Detroit has looked amazing, and they absolutely slammed the Browns last week and slammed the Ravens before that and slammed the Bears before that. That this feels like an easy bet for Detroit. And maybe it will be. And to be clear, I don't want to bet Cincinnati. But what I can tell people is that Cincy at 10.5 is going to be a popular bet amongst pro bettors. Cincy plus not 10, 10.5. So if you like Cincy, bet plus 10.5. If you like Detroit, wait for this and see if it comes down to minus 10. I am passing the game. But I will bet on the talent of Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase over 65.5 receiving yards. And anytime touchdowns, Jamal's son, Mitchell Tinsley, at a big price, anytime touchdown for the Bengals. 2 more games to hit on this Sunday. Chargers and the Commanders in Los Angeles. LA, a 3-point home favorite. There will be more Commanders fans in attendance. Total of the game, 47. Jaden Daniels is back and starting for the Commies, but he'll be without 2 of his top 3 receivers, Terry McLaurin, the 1, and Noah Brown, the 3. Joe Alt is out for the Chargers. Mekhi Becton is questionable on the offensive line. He has not yet cleared concussion protocol. He could before today's game, and he could play. Now, last week, and this doesn't help anyone, but I'm just saying, when Joe Alt got hurt last week in the Chargers-Giants game, I live bet the Giants to win the game. Because with Rashawn Slater out and Joe Alt out, I don't think they can pass protect for Herbert, and Becton didn't play last week either. The Chargers' offensive line is up against it in a big way. In a big way. Now, Herbert's awesome, and Jim Harbaugh's a great coach, so maybe they've got something cooked up to protect Justin Herbert, and to be fair, the Commanders' pass rush is not as good as the Giants' pass rush. But it is still pretty good. And I might be alone on this island right now, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to call him like Tom Hanks in Castaway, me and Wilson, and Jaden. I think Jaden Daniels is better than Justin Herbert. And I hate to do like the narrative street here, but I'm going to, because I like it, honestly. Herbert's really good. I think Jaden Daniels is better. And I'm getting 3. Give me the Commanders plus 3. I'll back it up with a small bet on, even without Terry McLaurin. I'll bet Commanders money line, and if you can find a 47.5, I'd go under 47. I suck at totals. Do whatever the hell you want. Like, I lose when I bet total, so maybe bet the over. It's up to you. Whatever. I like under 47.5. Yardage prop. Look, Quentin Johnston's been amazing. I still think Ladd McConkey is the most talented member of the Chargers receiving group. So let's go with Phil's son, Ladd McConkey. They're actually not related, right? 2 white, that's like star receivers. I don't know if Phil was a star, but he is a Super Bowl champion. Shout out to Phil, catching a touchdown in Super Bowl 21 in Pasadena as the New York Football Giants beat the Denver Broncos 39-20. Ladd McConkey over 56.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdown, same as last week with Washington. With McLaurin out, with Noah Brown out, Debo's the 1. But let's go beyond Debo. You can bet any of these 3 guys. Chris Moore, Luke McCaffrey, Ed's son, that's actually true, or Jalen Lane, Nathan's son. Adopted. Your choice, whoever the hell you like. You can bet whatever you like. And finally, Sunday Night Football. The Bills will be wearing their all-white cold front rivalry uniforms tonight. It's going to be like 75 degrees, just saying. Buffalo, an 8-point home favorite against the Patriots, total 49.5. Injury-wise here, Milton Williams, if you don't know who he is, you should. He was a star for Philly on their Super Bowl run last year, defensive tackle. The Patriots made him the highest-paid defensive tackle ever in free agency, and he has been a monster for New England. We think he's going to play tonight. That is big if you like the Patriots. Matt Milano and Ed Oliver both expected back for Buffalo, but not 100%. Now, coming into the year, I loved the Patriots. The Lolly Lule Low. If you like Metal Gear Solid, man, that was a reference for you. I bet the Patriots to make the playoffs. I bet over their win total. I love the Drake. God's plan has the Patriots making the playoffs in his second year. He started from the bottom, now he's here. So I love New England. I bet them last week in my Survivor play last week. I don't love them in this game. I think they're walking into a buzzsaw against Josh Allen and the Bills. I think the Bills will name their score here, and I do like Buffalo to cover this 8. Now, if you're squeamish and you think, Drake May has been really good this season. If you think the back door is going to be open late in the game, mine's out of the gutter, people. We're talking about point spreads. I think Buffalo is a great teaser leg for -8. Down to -2. And we'll finalize the teaser that we like on the other side. Yardage props, Stefan, can you Diggs it? Sucker. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Diggs over 45.5 receiving yards. And then he was a B-level bad guy in the critically acclaimed 1997 Japanese role-playing game Final Fantasy VII, which has been remade on 2 separate occasions now for the next-gen systems. Palmer. We're talking about Josh Palmer, over 16.5 receiving yards for the Buffalo Bills. Anytime touchdown, Kyle Williams, Patriots rookie receiver, who had a carry last week and is starting to get more run in the passing offense. Coming up next, fantasy football breakdown for every game and a deeper dive into props. 888-808-1019 is the number, 888-808-1019. 1019. It's You Better You Bet on the Fan with me, Nick Kostos, and you, whoever the hell you are, presented by BetMGM.
3-2 to Judge. Bases loaded, 2-0 Toronto.
It was a not-so-warm welcome to Toronto in Game 1 for the Yankees.
Swing and a miss. They got him on a slider. Oh, my goodness, one down.
Ace Max Fried takes the hill, looking to get the Bombers back on track before returning to the Bronx. Catch all the action, all the drama today. First pitch 4:08, here on your home for New York Yankees baseball. WFAN, New York.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. Hey! Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons.
Life's rewarding, especially with Flushing Bank's Complete Cash Rewards program. Just open a personal or business complete checking account to get started. With 29 New York Metro locations, there's nothing easier or more rewarding. Visit flushingbank.com today. Member FDIC.
Find excellence in every detail in a new Volvo. At Volvo Cars Ramsey, 8-time winner of the Volvo Excellence Award, you'll find excellent offers. Find our entire inventory at VolvoCarsRamsey.com. Find excellence at Volvo Cars Ramsey.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
We've got more sports talk coming up on The Fan.
NFL Sunday's coming. You've got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel is coming in with something extra. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop, and now we're making it even better because this week FanDuel's bringing the bonus. That's right. Right now, all customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account. Because that's what Sundays should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com/Geo to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. That's FanDuel.com/GIO. We just love the app around here. It's safe and secure, and when you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of WFAN. 21 and over and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
New York sports is more than a game. It's a lifestyle. WFAN is the only place where Yankees, Mets, Giants, and Jets fans come together and sound off. The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. It's Sunday morning. Time to plug into everything NFL. Time for your best bets and fantasy fix. It's time for You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
Nick Kostos here with you on the Fan. Glorious Week 5 NFL Sunday. 888-808-1019. 888-808-1019. 10 minutes to go. We got a fantasy and prop betting sprint on the way as we dive deep. How deep? Start with the Browns and the Vikings. Kickoff about 45 minutes from now in London. Quinshon Judkins is ridiculously good. Ridiculous. And if you were lucky enough to draft him, like where you did, because he had, and we'd have to get into his legal issues, and they were like not great. But obviously he's playing now, and just football-wise, he's ridiculous. He's like, he could win Offensive Rookie of the Year with how this is shaking out if he's able to keep this up. I'm not saying he will, but I think he could. He's spectacular. And even if the Browns are down in games, he's going to get fed the ball. You can start him with confidence. I think Harold Fannin is going to be Cleveland's number one tight end as we move forward this season. David Njoku, to me, is a trade candidate for the Cleveland Browns. And with Cedric Tillman on IR, I think Isaiah Bond is going to be their number 2 receiver with Judy as the one. If you're in a deep league and you want to stash Isaiah Bond, I think there are worse moves to be made. For Minnesota, I think you likely have to start Jordan Mason if you have him. I'm tempering expectations for him today. Down 3 offensive linemen up against this Browns defense. I do think Xavier Scott should be stashed. Like if you're in a really deep league. Now remember the Vikings are going to go on bye. Aaron Jones will be back at some point, but Xavier Scott has shown me something as Minnesota's backup running back. Jordan Addison looked great last week in his first game off suspension. You can start him in this game. And Jalen Naylor is Minnesota's wide receiver 3. Not Adam Thielen, who they traded for before the start of the season. Colts and the Raiders. A.D. Mitchell, we don't know if he's going to play today, and if he does play, how much he's going to play. I wish we did know, because if he does play, he's so good. He's just a bonehead. With the penalty, the holding on the Jonathan Taylor touchdown, and obviously fumbling the ball going into the end zone on a 70-plus yard touchdown. So Ashton Doolin would start if he does not. If A.D. Mitchell doesn't, I don't think you can start either with any confidence. I do think this is a Jacoby Myers blow-up game today for Vegas. Giants and obviously Ashton Genty. If you were patient with him, he paid off big time last week against the Chicago Bears. Giants and the Saints. Cam Scatterbo looks great to me. Obviously, he's an RB2. I like him a lot. Let's talk about the Giants receiving core now with Jackson Dart. And for me, Dart, more of a quarterback 2 in Superflex leagues than someone I want to start as a QB1. You're likely going to need him rushing the ball and scoring a rushing touchdown to get home. Now, I'm getting a bunch of questions from people. Is it Bo Collins or Jalen Hyatt as the number 3 with Malik Neighbors out? My guess is it's Collins. So Hyatt was obviously picked by this regime early on with Shane and Dable. He has never been able to get on the field and draw targets. So, it could be Jalen Hyatt. I'd rather take a shot on Bo Collins because we don't know if they trust Collins or not. I think we know they don't like Jalen Hyatt. So if I were forced to pick, I would go with Bo Collins over Jalen Hyatt while acknowledging it could go either way, but I would take Collins over Jalen Hyatt. For the Saints, I think Alvin Kamara, big-time trade candidate. Kendre Miller needs to be owned in all leagues. New Orleans Saints backup running back. And keep in mind, Taysom Hill is going to make his season debut today for New Orleans. So, don't be shocked if you're watching Red Zone or watching the Giants game, and here's Taysom Hill with a short yardage touchdown. Cowboys and the Jets. George Pickens, start him with confidence. Jake Ferguson, start him with confidence. You're in a PPR league. This could be a Jalen Tolbert, 9-catch game potentially with the way the Cowboys like to throw the ball. Jaden Blue is expected to be active for the Cowboys. Stash him where you can in deeper leagues. Stash Isaiah Davis where you can in deeper leagues with Braylon Allen out for the New York Jets. The Jets did sign Khalil Herbert. I think he's kind of washed up, and maybe he gets some run today for the Jets. And Mason Taylor, Jason's son, seriously, starting to look really good in this passing offense. Eagles and the Broncos. I understand A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both frustrating, and this Eagles offense is frustrating. You got to continue to start both. You can't sit them. And Saquon Barkley has been super frustrating this season. He did score a touchdown on the fake tush-push reverse last week. You start Saquon Barkley every week, and I get questions for, should I start Saquon Barkley? Duh. I know it hasn't been a great season for him. You have to start Saquon Barkley. R.J. Harvey looks awesome for the Broncos, had his best game of his rookie season Monday night against Cincy. I do think at some point he will overtake J.K. Dobbins as Denver's number one running back. Now, with Quinyon Mitchell likely to shadow Courtland Sutton, and you got to still play Courtland Sutton, I think this sets up as a Marvin Mims deep shot game. This is why he's hot for the Denver Broncos. And if you're in a really deep league, I would look to stash Pat Bryant, Denver's third-round rookie receiver out of Illinois, big slot receiver, Michael Thomas vibes. If you're, again, deep league, PPR, stash Pat Bryant. Dolphins and the Panthers. With Tyreek Hill out, I think the assumption is Malik Washington will be their number 2 receiver with Jalen Waddle as the one. I think I actually prefer Nick Westbrook-Ikine to Malik Washington. Darren Waller should actually be owned basically in every league. I can't believe I'm saying that. Scored 2 touchdowns on Monday night. And with Chuba Hubbard out, hit him with the Rico. Rico Dowdle will be the starter. And I do think that we'll see Trevor Etienne, Travis's brother. It is his brother. I think he'll get some run in the game. Texans and the Ravens. Obviously, you have to start Derrick Henry, but it's a terrifying matchup because if Baltimore's down in the game, they don't play him. But you obviously still have to start Derrick Henry. I do like Zay Flowers even with Cooper Rush because Flowers just gets a 4-yard pass and turns it into a 15-yarder. I hope you stashed Woody Marks like we told you to. He's Houston's number 1 running back now. And watch for the 2 rookie Texans receivers, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. If they start playing more, it'll add some juice to C.J. Stroud and this Texans offense. Titans and the Cardinals. Calvin Ridley is expected to play. We don't know what complement of snaps he'll get. If you have a better option, you probably don't, honestly. But if you do, I think you could sit Calvin Ridley today, especially with Cardinals stud rookie corner Will Johnson expected to go. Tyjae Spears will make his season debut for the Titans at running back. If you can stash him, and you haven't already and he's still out there, I would do so. And for the Cardinals at running back with Trey Benson now out, I would rank them in order. Michael Carter, then Amari DiMercado, then Zonovan Bam Knight. Bucks and the Seahawks. With Bucky Irving out, Rashad White will be their number 1 running back. I'm stashing Sean Tucker where I can as well. I think this is a massive JSN game. I think Chris Godwin could break out in this game. 10 targets for him last week. Lions and the Bengals. I know Chase Brown is stunk and Jamar Chase is stunk and T. Higgins is stunk with Burrow out. I think you start all of them here against the Lions defense. And Lions, this could be an eruption game for their offense. Start everybody. Commanders and the Chargers. My sense is this is a Ja'Cory Krosky merit game, but it could go either way. I prefer JCM to any of the Commanders running backs, and I think Zach Ertz will score at least 1 touchdown today for the Commies. Just something to watch for the Chargers. Will Dissly will be active today. Let's see how Arondé Gadsden, what his role is in the Chargers passing game. And the Bills and the Patriots, start everybody. I think this is a big-time offensive eruption game for both teams. Best bets for today in the NFL. Browns plus the 3.5 in the London game. The Jets and the Bills. I also like the Giants today. And the 2-team teaser, Bills and the Arizona Cardinals. Also, the Yankees will win today on the road in Toronto. And that does it for the Week 5 NFL Sunday edition of You Better You Bet here on The Fan. Football Sunday with my friend, the great Mark Malusis, is coming up next. Now, I'm back for the national edition of You Better You Bet, 11 a.m. Eastern this morning, and tomorrow on the weekday edition, search You Bet wherever you find your podcasts. So until we meet again in this time slot, dear listener, next Sunday morning at 8 a.m., I am Nick Kostos wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, and the absolute very best of luck. Let's get it today. Week 5, NFL Sunday.
The home of Yankees radio is WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.